Christmas is drawing very near, and I think it's time we learn the true history of Christmas. Now, don't mind this is probably a little dirty, but I just wanted to be a little festive. I don't have any Christmas lights, but I do have this light. That looks good enough. And before we get started, I want to shout out my girlfriend for making my profile picture more festive and turning the stick of butter into a stick of Grinch. So in this video, I'll be going over things to do with Jesus, Santa Claus, and all these other sort of weird traditions that we follow, but we don't know the meaning behind them. So believe it or not, December 25th was actually recognized as a special day of celebration about 300 years before the birth of Jesus. In 283 BC, in the city of Rhodes, which was on a small Greek island of the same name, December 25th was designated as a day to celebrate and have a feast in honor of the winter solstice. The reason this day was picked was because December 25th was the day that the Colossus of Rhodes statue was fully built, which is in honor of the sun god. Also, one more sort of celebration that's associated with December 25th. The Romans believed that this was the birthday of an infant god named Mithra, who was born of a rock. 3 centuries later, a baby boy was born in the small town of Bethlehem named Yeshua, and through multiple translations became Jesus in English. Now, I would go more in depth into that, but if you want to check it out, there's a whole book about it. So after the birth of Jesus, the Christian religion started spreading like wildfire. Although early Christians didn't celebrate Christmas like we do now, when it finally did become a holiday, there's a reason why people believe December 25th was picked. Now, I know what you're saying. Unsalted Butter, why are you assuming that that's not Jesus' birthday? Well, the Bible never even mentions when he was born, but it does mention that the shepherds were keeping watch over their flock when they heard the news and they went to visit him. So there's a few problems with this. Shepherds don't herd and keep watch over their flock during the winter. Also, shepherds were not allowed to travel during cold times back in the day because they didn't have medicine to cure them of any sickness, so they would easily die. Also, the last reason is that around this time of his birth, Jesus' father Joseph had to go to the city to pay his taxes, and these taxes were usually collected just a little after the harvest of fall. So back to what I was saying, the reasons vary as to why this date was picked, but the most common one is that Pope Julius I chose this date because the church wanted to adopt the tradition of the pagan festival Saturnalia. I have a whole video on that if you want to go check that out. So fast forward to when Christmas is first celebrated. Medieval Europe celebrated Christmas with 12 days of feasting and celebration. Each year, a poor beggar or student in each little town that was celebrating Christmas would be crowned the Lord of Misrule, basically getting to control everything that happened in these 12 days or the 12 days of Christmas. During this time, the poor would go to the houses of the rich and demand their best food and drinks, and if the rich denied, they would usually terrorize the rich with mischief. With this tradition lasting a while, Christmas became known as a time for the rich to pay off their debts to the poor, these debts being the fact that they're just rich and not giving to the poor. On March 15, 270 AD, in Patara, Turkey, a baby was born named Nicholas, who grew up a Christian and became a bishop, later known as Saint Nicholas. As a Christian, he would partake in this Christmas celebration, and he was also pretty wealthy, so following suit, he would also give back to the poor. But he didn't want them to know that he was giving back, he just wanted to be generous without getting any credit for it. So at night, he would throw money in the windows of the poor people's houses, and this is also where the tradition of stockings come into play, because people back in the day would wear stockings and shoes when they would go out and work. They would usually get wet, so people would have to hang them or put them near the fireplace to dry them, and it's said that as Saint Nicholas would throw money in the windows of the poor people, it would frequently land in these stockings or shoes. December 6, 343 AD, Saint Nicholas dies. Now don't worry kids, whenever Santa dies, a new one takes his place. The day of his death became known as Saint Nick's Day, where everyone would give gifts to each other, not just the rich giving to the poor, how the regular Christmas celebration was, but everyone started gift giving in honor of Saint Nicholas's generosity. But a little while later, Martin Luther moved Saint Nick's Day to the first day of the 12 days of Christmas, which is December 25th. So all the traditions carried over and mixed it together, and he said this is because the gift giving and generosity comes from the Christ child. The German way to pronounce it is Christkindl, and over time this was pronounced as Kris Kringle. If you're wondering how we got the name Santa Claus, St. Nicholas's Dutch nickname was Sinterklaas because St. Nicholas was pronounced Sint Nicolaas, and Sinterklaas changed to Santa Claus. And as the likeness of St. Nicholas spread throughout the entire world, many traditions came along with it. I already talked about a couple, for example, gift giving and hanging up stockings, but here's a few others. Now, for centuries, leaving out treats for Santa has been a tradition, but the act of setting out milk and cookies for Santa came about during the United States Great Depression. During the Great Depression, milk was one of the only drinks that people were able to afford, and cookies were cheap and easy to make, and people made this a tradition for their kids to leave Santa milk and cookies as a sign of showing gratitude with all that you have, even during a time of struggle. The main tradition I bet you're wondering about is Christmas trees. Why the heck are we putting a tree in our house and decorating it? People have been putting up fir trees in their house for thousands of years to ward off evil spirits, and later turned into a symbol of scaring away the devil. And after Christmas became a national holiday, that tradition got paired up with the Christmas traditions and became a symbol of peace. And originally it was a fir tree decorated with apples, which these apples represented the tree of knowledge of good and evil from the Bible. And later these apples turned into ornaments and lights being put around the tree. People actually used to use candles, but these turned into just regular light strands, and these lights represent Jesus because he is commonly referred to as the light of the world. So thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I might be coming out with one more video or a couple more shorts before the end of the year, and then next year I have a lot of videos planned. Please continue to support me if you want to see more videos. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you all for watching.